Hello guys, we are discussing the stoichiometric relationships and I am Vaishali Kekan. So let's start our discussion with this figure. So first of all we are going to understand this figure, and in this figure we are going to see how the solid, liquid and gases are different with the help of the diagram which represents the atoms in it. So this diagram represents the atom inside the solid, this represents the atom inside the liquid, and here this is the presentation of atoms inside the gas. So now if I increase the temperature, if I supply the heat energy, the particles are going to gain energy, atoms are going to gain energy. From the solid form they can convert to the liquid form, and from the liquid form they can convert into the gas form. So solid conversion to the liquid is known as melting, and the liquid conversion to the gas is known as boiling, or it is also known as evaporation. Right now if I reduce the heat, if I cool down, if I take out the energy from the system, particles are going to lose energy. Right here in the solid you can see we have the atoms which are very densely packed, they can only vibrate. Right, liquid can assume the shape of the container, it cannot fill up the container but it can take the shape of the container, and the particles can slide upon each other. The gas particles will fill up the space in which it is kept, and the particles are at random motion, they are at a very high energy. So if I reduce the energy, the gas can convert to the solid. So gas when reduced energy can convert to the liquid, this process is called condensation. Then liquid convert to the solid is known as freezing. So particle vibrate about the mean position in solid, particle move around each other in liquid, particle move at very high speed in all direction in gases. So now coming to the second diagram, it shows the heat curve when I have the different time. So here on the x-axis we have time in minute, on the y-axis we have temperature. If I increase the temperature, if I give heat, the solid will be having the higher temperature, right? So the temperature is going to increase and it comes at a constant point which is called the melting point. At the melting point, till all of the solid is converted to the liquid, the temperature is constant, right? When all of the solid has converted to the liquid, again on increasing the temperature or giving the heat, the temperature is going to increase, so liquid temperature is going to increase. Now comes the boiling point. So here the boiling point is 80 degree, and at the boiling point liquid start converting into gas, like here the solid started converting into the liquid. So the gas will be having a constant temperature till all of the liquid has converted to the gas, which would be 80. So at the boiling we will be having a constant temperature, then again on providing the heat the temperature will increase. Now coming to the meaning of the chemical equation. Now we have the elements and then we have the compound. The elements are combined in a fixed ratio to form the compound, right? So for example we have H2O, where we have 1 gram of hydrogen will combine with 8 gram of oxygen. If you take 1 gram of hydrogen, it can never combine with 10 gram of oxygen, it will be combining with 8 gram of oxygen only. Here this is another example, we have 2 carbon atom which will be combining with 1 molecule of oxygen to form 2 molecules of carbon monoxide. The ratio is fixed. If you take 4 carbon atoms and 2 oxygen molecules, it will be forming the 4 carbon monoxide molecules. The ratio will always be fixed. So 2 carbon plus O2 gives 2 CO, right? Or 4 carbon plus 2 O2 gives 4 CO, right? So ratio will always be fixed. Now coming to the balancing equation, we will be having exact same number and type of atom on either side of the equation. So here if I have 2 constituents, let's suppose it is 10 gram, it is 5 gram. So here also that overall weight of the constituent would be 15 gram, right? So here we will be seeing in the terms of the various atoms that we have. So here C3H8 plus 5O2 gives 3CO2 plus 4H2O. The carbon is 3 in number, hydrogen atoms are, here you can see it is 8, and oxygen are 5O2, which means 10 oxygen atom. Here if I see, we have 3 carbon, we have 8 hydrogen and we have 10 oxygen, right? So the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen should be balanced, right, in both of the sides. So here the 3 coefficient is mandatory, here the 4 is mandatory. Now coming to the question which states balance the equation, N2 gas plus hydrogen gas is going to form NH3 gas, and work out the some coefficients in the equation. So now here it is given N2 plus H2 is giving NH3. right? So here we have 2 atoms of nitrogen, so here I will be putting 2 so as to balance the nitrogen. So nitrogen here is 2, nitrogen here will also be 2. Now what is unbalanced here? Here hydrogen is, you can see hydrogen here is 6, here hydrogen is 2. So what we are going to do? We are going to put 3 over here so that hydrogen will be 6 over here. So this is how we will be having 6 hydrogen, 2 nitrogen, 6 hydrogen, 2 nitrogen. This is how the equation is balanced. Now coming to the next question, balance the equation. C4H10 plus O2 gives CO2 plus H2O. So what we are going to do here, first of all, we are going to balance out the compounds, right? So CO2 plus H2O. Right, so now first of all we are going to see the C. So what is the number of carbon atoms over here? It is 4. So first of all I am going to put 4 over here, right? So now when you put 4 over here, so carbon is balanced. Now H is 10 over here, H is 2 over here, so I am going to put 5 over here. Now when you see what is the number of oxygen over here, we have 8 plus 5, right? We have 13 oxygen. So here you can put 6.5 in front of O2. So this is how we have an equation. Now this coefficient will be a natural number, right? It should not be a integer, right? 6.5 is an integer, so we should multiply this equation with 2. So we will be having 2C4H10 plus twice into 6.5 will be 13 O2 gives 8 CO2 plus 10 H2O. So I hope you understood this kind of balancing. Thank you so much.